Gen Xers are going to know that song. Bob and Doug McKenzie. When Canada was super trendy in the United States of America, and Michael Charbon is reporting live from that glorious country right now on the show. How are you doing, my friend?
Rob Carson, I'm doing fantastic. You're sounding as good as ever, and congratulations on your accomplishment today in your male singlehood.
Oh yeah, I know. It's something that I never planned to be or do, this divorce thing, and I got to tell you, it's a little weird. It's just a little strange, but
you're a nice guy. You can cook and you keep a clean house. What more do you want?
Yeah, all I want is friends. I don't need any of the female persuasion at this point. I'm trying to swear them off for a while, I think. So anyway, things are going well here in D.C. though, brother. My God, it's clean and crime used to be crime ridden and all of that. It's pretty amazing what Donald Trump has done here, and I thank him for doing that. I hope it wasn't just because I moved here. But that said, let's move on to some things here. I want to mention this right off the top. I saw Doug Ford the other day. He poured out a bottle of Crown Royal to protest a plant closing in Ontario. They're going to move the booze making down to the States. And I got to tell you, I never thought that I'd see Doug Ford pour out any intoxicant like that.
Yeah, and Crown Royal, because Crown Royal and Coke, Crown and Coke is dear to our heart.
I'll bet it is.
As much as many Americans have it as well. Yeah, it's a bit of a grandstand. I mean, I would have dropped the bottle and smashed it. I think that would have gotten more press. I mean, at least if you're going to waste it, waste it. But this is, again, if Pierre Poilievre wasn't leading the Conservative Party federally in Canada, Doug Ford would. He's the guy who's kind of like the get-down, and he's Trumpian in the sense that he appeals to the common man.
Yeah. Doug Ford has had a very long, strange trip to where he is right now. I remember first hearing about Doug Ford because he was crack smoking, a little out of his head, kind of reminded you of Chris Farley at one point.
That was his brother.
Oh, it was his brother?
It was his brother who was the former mayor. It was his brother. This is the other brother.
Oh, this is the other brother. Okay. So this one is not this Doug Ford is. So he leans into like the Trump's end of the, would you say he's like a Blue Dog Democrat for Canada?
No, I would say he's got a lot of Republican in him.
Okay.
He does have the Canadian element that we support unions, but the situation is it's the common man who's getting screwed, and that he wants to make a difference for the common man. And Doug Ford, I mean, he doesn't take a lot of BS when it comes to it. He says what he thinks, and he's not afraid of what the public is going to say or the media is going to move it, because of course we here in Canada have the same epidemic of having a one-sided media who only like to report what they like to hear themselves, right?
Now you've got the Canadian broadcast company, so it has not been hit like NPR and PBS here, but it still dominates the narrative. And obviously, we have a lot of our liberal media dying on the vine, thanks to the election and also thanks to Elon Musk freeing up Twitter. But you still obviously do not have that yet. But it looks like some good news. I saw this in your Charbon report. Pierre Poilievre wins a landslide by Poilievre. I say Poilievre because I speak French. But anyway, he won a landslide by election. What is this? What's all this about?
Yeah, so what happened was he had a seat in Ottawa for 20 years, and in the last election against Mark Carney, he lost his seat. So because he lost his seat and he is the leader of the Conservative Federal Party, if he doesn't have a seat, he can't sit in Parliament, so he can't act as the leader of the Conservatives. So what they did was they parachuted him into a very beautiful Alberta community who votes Conservative, and he was able to retain a seat and now will be leading the Conservatives in the House of Commons.
Well, that didn't take very long. That's a pretty...
Took about 6 months, Robin. What the problem is here is we've had a prime minister of this country who's been gallivanting around and talking about how he's trying to curtail other markets, and he has been working very hard, but he hasn't worked at the root problem. And the root problem is that Canada's tariffs against the United States were lifted yesterday, and we took the media tariffs off, but our economy is suffering. I mean, our GDP went down. The situation is annualized. It's about 1.6%. And vehicle exports are down. Industrial machinery, travel. I mean, we are starting to feel the comings on of a recession in Canada. The first quarter, they wanted to sell everything they could to America to be able to get it before the tariffs took place. The second quarter, everything locked up because the tariffs took effect. If this third quarter shows that we continue to decrease in our economy, Canada's going to go into a recession, and it's going to be devastating for our economy because America's got coal, electric, fuel, energy, nuclear. You guys are catapulting into the stratosphere success and your stock market. We're not.
Yeah, the cost of living in Canada is insane too, by the way. And what do you suppose conservative leadership would do for the cost of living in Canada? Your real estate is inflated beyond belief. I mean, I watch, your Property Brothers up there, and they do these House Hunters Canada, and you're getting a little crap hole that costs 3 times as much as a townhouse in Manhattan, for crying out loud, and also groceries and whatnot. All of that costs more in Canada. Do you suppose that a conservative prime minister would be able to make life more bearable for Canadian citizens?
I think Poilievre is of the thinking that this should be a free trade zone between Canada and the United States. There are going to be certain sectors in Canada that are going to have to suffer slightly. That would be the forestry industry and maybe a little bit of our oil. But the overall positive impact, America will have to give a little bit too. There'll have to be restrictions taken off. But the common goal here is to create a North American, Leviathan. We would be together one of the strongest dual economies in the world because we have the natural resources. We have the water. We have the precious minerals. We also have the oil as well. And our economy says that our dollar is 30% less than what you guys pay. So if you have a 30% plus on everything that you can buy and do here, that's why America is Canada's 85% client, because our dollar is inexpensive. We're pretty well attuned to delivering what our client wants. But the problem is here, now that these taxes and tariffs are coming into an effect, we're feeling it because there are less goods that are being exported from Canada to the United States and more goods that are coming in. There's actually a deficit that was reported, $19.6 billion deficit of us importing more than we're giving out.
Wow. Now I want to continue this on the other side of the break, Michael Charbon. I want to ask about when is the election for Prime Minister in Canada, and what do you suppose will happen if Poilievre is that guy, and maybe he and Trump will be able to meet on better terms? If we could cover that in the next break, that would be great. Let's take a break right now and come back. This, my friends, is the Rob Carson Show.